House went on from 1995 to 2011. This is part 3 of our series on the campaign. We're coming now to ACM's 10-point campaign. You can find details of this on the ACM website, www.norepublic.com.au. Just click on the icon on the front page, Return the Governor, and you'll find details of our campaign, reports on it, 2 media interviews with the Reverend Fred Nile, and you'll also find there a brochure which you can download and send to other people and print if you want to do that. Return the Governor. In this PowerPoint presentation, we're looking at the first 5 points relating to our campaign. This, of course, relates to getting the governor. Here we see the wonderful Professor Bashir as governor, getting her back and her successors back to their purpose-built home and domain government house. The first point of our campaign was that Mr. Carr decided that Gordon Samuels, Mr. Justice Gordon Samuels, would be part-time, his part-time Excellency. Now, there was a serious problem in that. The problem was it was most likely unconstitutional, because as the part-time chairman of the New South Wales Law Reform Commission, Gordon Samuels was appointed by and responsible to His Excellency the Governor, that is, himself. You had the impossible situation then, as is shown in this graph, that the chairman would be responsible to himself, and that was unacceptable. The government soon realized that and abandoned it. The second point was to reduce pomp and ceremony, unnecessary pomp and ceremony. Here we see the governor at the dawn service on Anzac Day. Whatever the governor does is absolutely necessary. The people of New South Wales want leadership. They don't want politicians, they want leadership beyond politics. And it's important that the governor, the host of the state, be there on those occasions of great importance to the people of New South Wales. Mr. Carr's third argument was it'd save money. Well, it certainly didn't. In fact, the AuditorGeneral examined the question and found that in the first year it cost more than $500,000 more. And the reason was simple. You had to maintain Government House, you had to have security at Government House, you also had to have an office, and I suspect they didn't charge rent for that office, but you had to have an office, and you also had to have security where the governor lived, that is, her own home. And the governor would be moving between those 3 places and would require additional security during those moves. Obviously, this was going to be more expensive, so much so that in the period of the eviction, it's probably cost at least $9 million, I suspect substantially more than that, to go on with this ridiculous proposal, ridiculous eviction of the governor from her purpose-built home. You know, there's always talk by those who want to keep this going that the Government House was returned to the people of New South Wales. Well, it was always owned by the people of New South Wales, but it was built for the purpose of providing a home, an office, a separate domain free from the constraints of the politicians, so that the governor could exercise a very important function of being a check and balance on government and providing leadership beyond politics. A fourth argument by Premier Carr was it would provide greater public access, as if public access wasn't being provided. There we see in Melbourne, at Melbourne Government House, at the Grand Prix, the ballroom filled with people of Melbourne for the Grand Prix. It was the same in Sydney. In the last year of Governor Sinclair's term, he received well over 30,000 members of the public. There was just as much public access before than there was afterwards. And of course, during the days that the governor was there, Government House wasn't misused by the government, by politicians, for political purposes, as it has been since the eviction of the governor. The fifth point is, it's grossly unfair to Her Excellency. Professor Bashir is put in the impossible position of moving between home, her office, functions all over the place, her office and Government House and back to her office. She spends an inordinate part of every day in Sydney's traffic. And Sydney's traffic is nothing about which the government should be proud. So from 1995 to 2001, there were those very 5 important reasons why the governor should live at Government House. In the next of these presentations, part 4, we'll come to the final 5 points, including the very particular point which the Premier kept under wraps until he left office. Thank you.